All right, today we're going to dive into something really fascinating, the Arreqqana Personality Test. Now, forget everything you know about personality quizzes that stick you in a box. In this way of thinking, our personalities are more like a tapestry, woven from different threads of how we react and feel. This whole thing is really a framework for seeing ourselves a little more clearly, for understanding the deep down patterns that guide our choices. So it all really boils down to this one big question: which thread dominates you? Don't worry if that sounds a bit strange right now. We're going to figure it all out together, and by the end of this, I promise you'll have a brand new way of looking at the forces at play inside your own head.
So how do we figure this out? Simple. We're going to walk through 5 questions, and here's the only rule. Go with your gut. Seriously, don't overthink it. Just pick the answer that feels the most like you. Ready? Let's do this.
Okay, question 1. Imagine someone criticizes you. What is that very first gut-level reaction? Is it A, you kind of pause and reflect to see if there's any truth to it? B, you feel that sting of hurt, but you really try to see where they're coming from? C, your walls go up instantly and you get defensive or angry? Or is it D, you just feel this wave of shame wash over you? Go ahead, just make a mental note of that letter. Question number 2. Let's talk about conflict. When you're in a disagreement, what's your go-to move? Is it A, to just focus on solving the problem as calmly as possible? B, to do whatever it takes to keep the peace and smooth things over? C, to fight your corner and prove that you're right? Or D, to just get out of there and avoid the confrontation altogether? Moving on to number 3. Picture this. A friend, a coworker, someone close to you has a big success. What does that little voice in your head say? Are you A, genuinely inspired by what they've achieved? B, pretty neutral, it doesn't really affect you? C, does it light a little competitive fire in you? Or is it D, does it make you immediately start comparing yourself and feel like you're falling behind? All right, question 4. This one's about responsibility. When someone is really counting on you, how do you handle it? Are you A, you help, but you're also good at setting clear boundaries to protect your own energy? B, you give as much as you possibly can, even if it means running yourself into the ground? C, you're happy to help, but you kind of expect some recognition for it? Or D, you feel totally overwhelmed, but you say yes anyway? And here we are, our last question. When someone breaks your trust, what happens next? Do you A, really try to process the pain and eventually move forward? B, do you just quietly pull away and create distance? C, do you feel that burn for revenge? Or D, do you start to wonder, what did I do wrong? And blame yourself? Okay, take a second, tally up your answers, and just see which letter, A, B, C, or D, popped up the most. Have you got your letter? Awesome. Now we get to the really fun part. Let's decode what all this means. It's time to finally meet your dominant thread. So, whether you had a ton of one letter or it was a bit of a mix, just focus on the one you chose most often. Let's see what it's all about. Okay, here it is, the big reveal. If you answered mostly A, your dominant thread is the flame thread, also known as Nedor. If you got mostly B, you're looking at the flowing thread, or Kiwaya. Mostly C means your shadow thread, Valcora, is running the show. And if you chose mostly D, that points to the Ember Thread, Solar. So what on earth does that actually mean? Let's get into it. We're going to break down each of these 4 threads one by one. And remember, this is all about seeing a pattern. It's not about being stuck with a label forever. So what does your dominant thread say about you right now? First up, the flame thread, Nedor. If this was you, it suggests that you tend to operate from a place of real conscious intention. Your actions are usually guided by empathy, self-awareness, and a pretty clear sense of your own values. See how this connects right back to the quiz? All those A answers, reflecting on criticism, solving problems calmly, feeling inspired by others, those are the telltale signs of the flame thread. It points to a really proactive and balanced state of mind. Next up, we have the flowing thread, or Kyuhya. At its heart, this thread is all about adaptation and harmony. So if this is your dominant thread, you're likely someone who really values keeping the peace and is skilled at, well, going with the flow. And you can see this so clearly in all the B answers, right? Trying to understand, even when you're hurt, prioritizing peace, quietly pulling away from drama. These all perfectly capture that adaptive, non-confrontational vibe of the flowing thread. Now, let's talk about the shadow thread, Velcora. When this thread is dominant, it just means that your behavior is often led by your defensive side. This is all about protection, competition, and reacting to things that feel like a threat. The C answers map perfectly onto this. Getting defensive, needing to be right, feeling competitive, these are all classic protective instincts. But here's the crucial thing to understand. This thread isn't bad. It's your inner bodyguard, the part of you that's just trying to keep you safe. Its methods might be a little rough, but its intention is to protect you. And finally, we have the Ember Thread, or solar. If this is your dominant thread, it suggests that unresolved emotional wounds might be influencing your choices. It really points to a state of deep, deep sensitivity. And this comes through so clearly in those D answers. That immediate shame, the urge to avoid conflict at all costs, and the tendency to blame yourself, it all comes from a place of inner woundedness. But the flip side is that this thread is also the source of incredible sensitivity and empathy. It's the part of you that feels things so very deeply. So now you know your dominant thread, but so what? Well, the point isn't to just find your label and call it a day. In this philosophy, figuring out your thread is really just step one. And here's probably the most important part of this whole thing. Every single one of us has all 4 threads inside of us. The flame, the flow, the shadow, and the ember. They're all part of being human. Your dominant thread is just the one that's got the microphone right now. The goal here isn't to get rid of the shadow or the ember, and it's not even to live in the flame thread 24/7. The real goal is balance. It's about learning to recognize which thread is driving your car in any given moment, and then being able to consciously choose how you want to respond using the strengths of all 4. So that leaves us with one final question for you. Now that you have this new language for your inner world, the protector, the peacemaker, the sensitive soul, the conscious actor, what's your next step? Because the journey isn't about knowing your thread. It's about learning how to dance with all 4. Thanks for exploring with us today.